Today I'm spending time meditating as my wife and I vacation on our spring break. And on my mind is the chapter I wrote in the book, Consuming Fire, Prayer Strategy for Intercessors, called Catch Fire with His Fire. You know, God says in Psalm 104, and it's verse 4, and it's repeated in Hebrews chapter 1, verse 7, He makes His angels spirits and His ministers a flame of fire. And that word ministers, especially in the New Testament quote, rendering of that verse, is specifically talking about you and I, His people. It's talking about angels who can be ministers of fire, but it's talking about us. We are to catch fire with our fire. Do you want your area changed? Do you want to see the region you live in that God has given you to serve changed by the power of God? We talk about revival. I'm not crazy about the word revival. I like the Old Testament Hebrew word revival, which is simply the word life. I like to see the life of God perpetuated and maintained. That is living in perpetual revival. Do you want that for your region? The way to get that is to let Jesus, ask Him, allow Him, baptize us in the river of fire flowing from the throne of God. Catch fire with His fire. I encourage you to get this book if you haven't. I encourage you to read that chapter, but I encourage you to seek God. Jesus is the baptizer in fire and the Holy Spirit. And they're one and the same, by the way. Those two baptisms are one and the same. And I encourage you to just stay in pursuit of Him until you are a flaming ember, a flaming servant of God, with the fire of God raging in and around your life, so that everywhere you go, you touch people in your region with the fire of God. I pray often. I haven't prayed this in a while. Lord, forgive me, or thank you for reminding me. I pray that God's fire will be so prevalent in me, His presence and the fire of His presence, that it's felt in every direction for a certain number of miles. I won't say how many, but that's my prayer, my passion. I encourage you to seek Him for the baptism and the fire of God, so that you can change. You can be an instrument, an instrument of change for your region. Change.